निर्विशेष शून्यवादी असत्य देश तारिणी। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी, जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय गोपी जना वल्लभा गिरिवर धारी, जय गोपी जना वल्लभा गिरिवर धारी। यशोदा नंदन व्रज जन रंजन, यशोदा नंदन व्रज जन रंजन। यमुना तीरा वनचारी, यमुना तीरा वनचारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी, जय राधा माधव राधा माधव राधे। जय राधे जय राधे, जय राधे जय श्री राधे। जय जय प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद, जय जय प्रभुपाद। Hare Krishna to everyone. Today we will be chanting the prayers of Lord Brahma in line with our presentation today. So I will share the screen. We are starting from Shloka 24, which we are going to cover in today's class. Evam vidham tvam sakalatmanamapि स्वात्मानमात्मातया विचक्षते गुरुवर्कलब्धोपनिषत् सुचक्षुषा ये te tarantiva bhavarnatam budhim. Those who have received the clear vision of knowledge from the sun like spiritual master can see you in this way as the very soul of all souls, the super soul of everyone's own self. Thus, understanding your original personality, they are able to cross over the ocean of illusory material existence. आत्मानमेवात्मतया विजानतां तेनैव जातं निखिलं प्रपञ्चितम् ज्ञानेन भूयोऽपि च तत्प्रलीयते रज्ज्वामहिर्भोगभवा भवो यथा. A person who mistakes a rope for a snake becomes fearful, but he then gives up his fear upon realizing that the so called snake does not exist. Similarly, for those who fail to recognize you as the supreme soul of all souls, the expansive illusory material existence arises, but knowledge of you at once causes it to subside. अज्ञानसंज्ञो भवबन्धमोक्षो द्वानां नान्यो स्तरतज्ञभावात् अजस्य चित्तात्मनि केवले परे विचार्यमाणे तरणाविवाहनि. The conception of material bondage and the conception of liberation are both manifestations of ignorance. Being outside the scope of true knowledge, they cease to exist when one correctly understands that the pure spirit soul is distinct from matter and always fully conscious. At that time, bondage and liberation no longer have any significance, just as day and night have no significance from the perspective of the sun. त्वामात्मानं परं मत्वा परमात्मानमेव च आत्मा पुनर्बहिर्मृग्य अहोज्ञ जनताज्ञता. Just see the foolishness of those ignorant persons who consider you to be some separated manifestation of illusion and who consider the self, which is actually you, to be something else, the material body. Such fools conclude that the Supreme Soul is to be searched for somewhere outside your Supreme Personality. अन्तर्भवेनन्तभवन्तमेव यतद्यत्यजन्तो मृगयन्ति सन्तः असन्तमप्यन्त्यहिम्नन्तरेण सन्तं गुणं तं किमुयन्ति सन्तः. O unlimited Lord, the saintly devotees seek you out within their own bodies by rejecting everything separate from you. Indeed, how can discriminating persons appreciate the real nature of a rope lying before them until they refute the illusion that it is a snake? अथापि ते देव पदाम्बुजद्वय प्रसादलेशानुगृहीत एव हि जानाति तत्त्वं भगवन्महिम्नो न चान्य एकोऽपि चिरं विचिन्वन्. My Lord, if one is favored by even a slight trace of the mercy of your lotus feet, he can understand the greatness of your personality. But those who speculate to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead are unable to know you, even though they continue to study the Vedas for many years. तदस्तु मे नाथ स भूरिभागो भवेत्रवान्यत्र तु वातिरश्चाम् येनाहमेकोऽपि भवज्जनानां भूत्वा निषेवे तव पादपल्लवम्. My dear Lord, I therefore pray to you to be so fortunate that in this life as Lord Brahma or in another life, wherever I take my birth, I may be counted as one of your devotees. I pray that wherever I may be, even among the animal species, I can engage in devotional service to your lotus feet. अहोति धन्या व्रजगोरमण्या संज्ञामृतं पीतमतीव ते मुदा यासां विभोवत् सतरात्मजात्मना यत्तृप्तये द्वापि न चालमध्वरः. Almighty Lord, how greatly fortunate are the cows and the ladies of Vrindavan, the nectar of whose milk you have happily drunk to your full satisfaction, taking the form of their cows and children. All the Vedic sacrifices performed from time immemorial to the present day have not given you as much satisfaction. अहोभाग्यम नंद गोपवजौकसाम यन्मित्रं परमानंदम Purnam Brahma Sanatanam. How greatly fortunate are Nanda Maharaj, the cowherd men, and all the other inhabitants of Rajabhumi. There is no limit to their good fortune because the absolute truth, the source of the transcendental bliss, the eternal supreme Brahman, has become their friend. येषां तु भाग्यमहिमाच्युत तावदास्ताम् एकादशैव हि वयं बत भूरिभागाः एतदृशीकचषकैरस्पृत्पिबामः शर्वाद्यो शर्वादयो अङ्घ्रियुदजमध्वमृतासवं ते. Yet, even though the extent of the good fortune of these residents of Vrindavan is inconceivable, we 11 presiding deities of the various senses headed by Lord Shiva are also most fortunate because the senses of these devotees of Vrindavan are the cups through which we repeatedly drink the nectarian intoxicating beverage of the honey of your lotus feet. तद्भूरि भाग्यम् इह जन्म किमपि यटव्याम् यद्गोकुलेऽपि कथमाङ्घ्रिरजोऽभिषेकम् यज्जीवितं तु निखिलं भगवान् मुकुन्दस् तद्यापि तत्पदरज श्रुतिमृग्यमेव. My greatest possible good fortune would be to take any birth, whatever, in this forest of Gokul and have my head bathed by the dust falling from the lotus feet of any of its residents. The entire life and soul is the Supreme Personality of Godhead Mukunda, the dust of whose lotus feet is still being searched for in Vedic mantras. येषां घोषनिवासिनाम् उत भवान् किं देवरातेति नश्चेतो विश्वफलात् फलं त्वदपरं कुत्रापि अयन्मुह्यति सद्वेषादिवत्पूतनापि सकुला त्वामेव देवा पिता यद्धार्मार्थ सुहृत्प्रियात्मतनया प्राणाशयास्त्वत्कृते. My mind becomes bewildered just trying to think of what reward other than you could be found anywhere. You are the embodiment of all benedictions which you bestow upon these residents of cowherd community of Vrindavan. You have already arranged to give yourself to Putana and her family members in exchange for her disguising herself as a devotee. So what is left for you to give to these devotees of Vrindavan, whose homes, wealth, friends, dear relations, bodies, children, and very lives and hearts are all dedicated only to you? तावद्रागादयस्तेनास्तावत् कारागृहं गृहं तावन्मोहोऽङ्घ्रिनिगडो यावत् कृष्ण न ते जनाः. My dear Lord Krishna, until people become your devotees, their material attachments and desires remain thieves, their homes remain prisons, their affectionate feelings for their family members remains foot shackles. प्रपंचम निष्प्रपंचोपि विडंबयसि भूतले प्रपन्न जनतानंद संदोहम प्रतितुम प्रभो. My dear master, although you have nothing to do with material existence, you come to this earth and imitate material life just to expand the varieties of ecstatic enjoyment for your surrendered devotees. जानन्त एव जानन्तु किं बहुप्यान मे प्रभो मनसो वपुषो वाचो वैभवं तव गोचरः. There are people who say, I know everything about Krishna. Let them think that way. As far as I am concerned, I do not wish to speak very much about this matter. Oh my Lord, let me say this much. As far as your opulences are concerned, they are all beyond the reach of my mind, body, and words. अनुजानीहि मां कृष्ण सर्वं त्वं वेत्सि सर्वदृक् त्वमेव जगतां नाथो जगदेतत्सवार्पितम्. My dear Krishna, I now humbly request permission to leave. Actually, you are the knower and seer of all things. Indeed, you are the Lord of all universes. And yet, I offer this one universe unto you. Shri Krishna Vrishnikula Pushkara Joshadayin क्षमा निर्जर द्विज पशुदधि वृद्धिकारिन् उद्धर्म शार्वर हरक्षिति राक्षसद्रुग कल्पमार्कमरहन् भगवन् नमस्ते. My dear Shri Krishna, you bestow happiness upon the lotus-like Vrishni dynasty and expand the great oceans consisting of the earth, the demigods, the brahmanas, and the cows. You dispel the dense darkness of irreligion and oppose any demons who have appeared on this earth. O Supreme Personality of Godhead, as long as this universe exists and as long as the sun shines, I will offer my obeisances unto you. Hare Krishna. Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami. This is the end of Lord Brahma's prayers. And now we will go on to the recap of today's lesson by Sanjeev Prabhuji. Over to you, Sanjeev Prabhuji. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
The invocation prayers.
Can I do just before my class, or shall I do it now, Prabhu?
Now, after that, Sanjay Prabhu will.
Okay, Prabhu, I will do it now. Om ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितां तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधा कान्त नमोऽस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमः ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन्निति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि श्री गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा. Over to you, Sanjeev Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Am I audible?
Yes, you're audible.
Okay, wonderful. Last week, welcome all to the class. And last week, Mataji wonderfully did for us lesson 44. And Mataji, very wonderful verses. Today also you sang. So thank you for doing that. Excellent seva for our benefit. So it was covered chapter 14, verse 1 to 23, hymns of Lord Brahma to Nanda Nandana Krishna. Okay. We'll do a quick recap, and then there are certain questions we have. We'll go through so that we can understand and revise the chapter a bit better. So verse 1 to 8 is Brahma's instruction on how to approach Nanda Nandana Krishna. Right? And then further themes here. While praising Krishna's Swarup Shakti, Brahma expresses high level of ignorance, which we will try to rehash today. The sweetness displayed in his interaction with his sakhas is even more difficult to comprehend than his Aishwarya. Bhagavan realization is possible only by his mercy through faithful engagement in Navida Bhakti while disregarding Varnashrama and the Jnana Karma. Right? Then the second section, verse 9 to 29, while profusely repenting with utmost humility, Brahma begged Lord forgiveness for his uncivilized impudence. So there we are seeing, though Lord Brahma is born in Rajogun, he's the son of Garbhadakshay Vishnu, which is the original Narayan or the manifestation or expansion of Krishna, right? And therefore Brahma says that he deserves mercy as his son. We covered that last week. We discussed that also. And then through Guru Kripa, through Guru Krishna, disciple realizes the signs of Vrindavan Krishna and the illusion of rope and snake is gone. I think that will be covered this week. And that is the way we attract Lord's mercy. Right? So this section will be covered today. We then go to next. Again, I think we just covered through the three different sections of this chapter. We covered last week the first two sections here. So here, Lord Brahma, as we see with his four heads, is seeking forgiveness from Nanda Nandana Krishna and we will question or briefly review about Nanda Krishna as well. But herein we see the Lord is holding, Krishna is holding the morsel in his hand, and then the horn and the bugle, and he's garlanded with the whole forest flower. So, and he's in a Kaishorya or very young age, right? Now, firstly, this section, a bit more details. We'll just go through verse 1 to 8. Once again, revise that. Here, Brahmaji praises Krishna's Sarupa Shakti. He expresses 5 levels of ignorance. And then he praises the sweetness displayed in Krishna's interaction with his Sakha. He mentions that his interaction with his Sakha is more difficult to comprehend than Aishwarya, just repeating that part. And Bhagavan's realization is possible only by the mercy through faithful engagement in Navada Bhakti, and we have to disregard everything else. Okay? So let us start the Q&A. Okay. Ready all of you? The first question comes here. What were the 2 realizations Lord Brahma had about Nandanana Krishna? What were the 2 realizations that Lord Brahma has about Nandanana Krishna?
Hare Krishna.
Yes, ma'am.
Can I answer?
Yes, Mother. Yes, please.
Yeah, Brahma's hymn emphasizes that Nandana, Krishna's expansion, has these particular features: the constant Swarupa, Aishwarya, and Madhurya, Lila, Shakti, combining all together.
Okay, this is the this is the features of Lord Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. The main 2 realization is that Nandanana, as you said, is the Nandanana Krishna has Aishwarya and Madhurya and Sarupa Leela. So they are the and actually to go directly, this is the answer, Mataji. If you may read this, Brahma directly. Yeah.
Brahma directly realized Nandanandana and Vrindavan's Krishna's both Aishwarya and Madhurya in his Kaumarya Lila.
Yes, yes. So this is the one-line answer, and that is the expansion. We will come to that part. So Aishwarya and Madhurya Lila are the readers. Thank you, Mataji. Now, the next question. What word indicate that Krishna is son of Nand Maharaj? What word indicates that Krishna is the son of Nanda Maharaj? Can someone try that? I have highlighted the section. It starts from here.
It's a Mrudu Pada.
No, not that.
No?
I cannot highlight this. So it's the next part. So
Okay.
Pashupa.
Pashupa.
Yeah. Can you read
Yeah,
that?
Pashu is cows and follower of that. Pashupa.
Pashupa. So Pashupa means here the. Why is this not going? That is Pashupa, a cowherd Nandananda. So he is the son of the cowherd.
Cowherd.
That is why that is the clear indication over here. Pashupa Anga Jaya. Here, this particular word. So Pashupa Anga Jaya. He is son of a cowherd person. That means who is that? Here it is the Nanda Maharaj, right? So now let me make a little bit tricky. Let's see if you all can answer. Okay. So let us raise the bar a bit. Which expansion of Krishna have all the 3 features? I repeat, which expansion of Lord Krishna have all the 3 features? Sarupa, Aishwarya, Madhurya, Leela, Shakti combined together.
That's the Nanda Krishna or Yashoda Krishna.
That is not an expansion. That is Krishna himself, right?
Himself, yeah.
Vrindavan Krishna.
Vrindavan Krishna.
That is also Krishna himself. So which expansion of Krishna has that feature?
He is Avishwe.
No, so it is tricky, as I said. The answer is no other expansion. That is what, so I had to make a little bit change so that I can, so that's what Brahma is saying. If you read here, he's saying that Krishna's expansion, none of the Lord Krishna or none of the Krishna expansion, be it Vishnu, Narayan, they have all these three feature combined, only Nanda Krishna has it. Okay, do all agree with that? Any doubts, any challenges?
No, the previous example we saw Lord Ram, right? He's only Aishwarya, whereas Krishna embodies everything.
Yes.
Madhurya and Aishwarya.
Yes. So you agree with that, right? That only Nanda Krishna has all three combined, right? Yes, Prabhu?
Yes, please.
Okay, great. Thank you. So now we will go to the next question. This is a very wonderful and important slide, so we'll spend some time. So how is Brahma's one sec. Do this. So here's the question. How is Brahma's secondary creation nourished by the Lord? How is Brahma's secondary creation nourished by the Lord? I have just highlighted. Can someone take a try?
यस प्रभु जी, मैं आए?
Yes, yes, Mataji.
हाँ, ब्रह्मा जी कहते हैं कि आपका जो बॉडी का कलर जो है, जो डार्क ब्लू मॉनसून क्लाउड, उसके वजह से जो बारिश आती है वो पूरे मेरे क्रिएशन को नरिश करता है.
Correct. Very nice. So that is Abra. Abra is the dark blue monsoon.
Abra, हाँ.
Yeah. And that rain, that is actually rain.
Nourishing his secondary creation.
Yeah. The mercy, that is mercy of the Lord. That is Vapuse. And that is nourishing the secondary creation of Lord Brahma. So again, wonderful, like very, very sweet verse here. One last thing before we move. What are the features of Krishna described here? That's a very, like, how is the beauty of Lord Krishna described here?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji.
Abra, it is like a dark blue monsoon cloud, and with this nourishing, with secondary creation, Vapusi, whose body is like lightning, and Abraya, whose garment is that color. Gunja, small berry mala he has, and with ornaments for the ears, which is for the ornaments for the ears. And Paripicha and peacock is peacock feathers, that is resplendent. Then Mukhya, his face, that is Vanyasraj, wearing garlands of forest flowers. And Kavala is the morsel of food which he holds.
He's holding, yeah.
And Vetra is a stick. Visanya is a buffalo horn. Bugle is horn. Venu is a flute.
Yes. So these are the
qualities of beauty which is described for Krishna.
Like Lakshma Shri, that is the.
And Lakshma Krishna Shriya beauty. Mrudu, soft, Pade, whose feet.
Pade, yeah.
And Pashupa of the cowherd, Nanda Maharaj, and Angajaya is unto the sun.
Correct. Perfect, Mataji. So that is the summary of the sweet qualities of the Lord in this form of Nanda Krishna, which no other expansion shows. Okay. So let's move to next slide now. So now here, tell me what might be Krishna's objection. Brahmaji is praying to the Lord. What is the possibility? What might be Krishna's objection to Brahma's prayer? What do you think? What might Krishna say? Prasad Prabhu?
Yes,
yes, Mataji.
हाँ, Krishna might object. वो कह सकते हैं कि you are the master of all powers in the universe, while I am but a cowherd boy in the Vraja forest. You are an ancient and exalted personality, and I am but a small boy. You are knowledgeable of all the Vedas and endowed with the most exemplary conduct. But I am an ignorant keeper of cows, and so unaware of proper conduct. मतलब कृष्णा उन्हें सार्काज्म में ऐसे मतलब कह रहे कि मैं तो छोटा बच्चा हूँ, कावर्ड बॉय हूँ, मुझे कुछ मालूम नहीं, आप क्या कर रहे, मुझे क्यों प्रेज कर रहे हो ऐसे.
Correct, absolutely correct. So that is what our Acharya Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is saying, that this is something Brahma might think that अगर कृष्णा ने ऐसे ऑब्जेक्ट किया तो मेरा रिस्पॉन्स ये होगा. सो समझो कृष्णा ने ऐसे ऑब्जेक्ट किया So Brahma will say, I will have 5 layers of illusion. What will that be? Lita Mataji or anyone else who want to
Yeah.
read this?
Yeah, I cannot estimate the greatness of your Swarup Shakti.
Correct.
Engaging in the child like Leela Shakti, let alone your Kishore Leela Shakti. Failing to understand your Swarup Shakti, how can I fathom the happiness you feel within yourself by herding the cows?
Correct.
The third, I cannot comprehend the happiness you coward friend, what your coward friends feels, what to speak of your happiness. You experience directly playing with them, with the person with a controlled mind, like me, Brahma himself is saying, cannot understand the happiness what he speaks of those with uncontrolled mind. Neither can I understand your Madhurya Leela Shakti.
Absolutely right, Mataji. Thank you so much. So this is the summary. Like Brahma will say, this is the 5 level of ignorance I have. I cannot understand your greatness, your Shakti. I cannot understand what makes you happy, what happiness your friends and Gopas get. And if I, as a person, I am such a body made of intelligence, I cannot understand this. What about others? So this is the bewilderment Brahmaji or illusion or this thing Brahmaji has if Krishna says ki, why are you here, right? So then this is what Brahmaji will say ki, bhai, you are the Lord, I am your servant. Okay? So moving ahead, so here this slide is one of little difficult. Okay, so one minute. So how can the people on the impersonal platform or even the Jnana platform they can experience the sorry, okay, this is a tricky one, so I will skip this. I will go with this one. Why is the Lord Krishna called as Gunatma? Okay, that is in the next slide. I'm having slight difficulty.
In next slide, please.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. How can, okay, we'll focus on the crux of this slide. Like, how can Ajita, who Ajita means one who is never conquered, be conquered? How can Ajita, who is never conquered, be conquered? Can someone please answer that?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes, ma'am.
So to conquer Ajita, I mean to become Jita is just we do devotional service and we hear, and a part of it is also hearing Krishna Katha. So and then with mind, body, kaya, manasa, vacha, we relish hearing Krishna Katha in devotee association, and that is how devotees, conquers Lord Shri Krishna.
Correct.
Otherwise, with the speculative knowledge, it is very difficult to understand in that mood of bhakti. And then Krishna also doesn't want us to be speculative. So
Yes. Perfect, Madhavi. You answered the next possible question also. But yeah, only way to conquer Ajita is devotional service, and that starts with Shravana or hearing, or sorry, Kirtana, hearing about the Lord in the association of devotee. Then last time in the class, Mataji, this is not in here, but Mataji shared there is a verse which defines bhakti. Does anyone want to volunteer and rehash that verse? What is the verse by Jiva Goswami which tells us about what bhakti is?
is that Tattenu Kampan Sushimikshamanu?
No, that is that.
Anya
Rupa Goswami
Bilashita
Prabhu.
Anya, yes.
Anya Bilashita, Rup by Rup.
Correct.
Anna Bilashita Shunyam Jnana Karmadi Anavratam.
Correct.
Anukulena Shilanam Bhakti Ruttama.
Correct. Correct. Absolutely right, Mata. Yes, that is the verse. Then in the class, we also discussed, there was a very interesting point Mataji made, just to quickly rehash. Why it is Anya Abhilashita, why not Sarva Abhilashita? That was the point which struck to me. So I'm just bringing it back here. So
You still have to have a desire to serve Krishna, because
Right.
otherwise what are we going to do? How are we going to conquer him?
Yes, Mata.
If we don't have that impetus to serve Krishna, or impetus to listen to Krishna Katha, or impetus to serve the devotees, we are going nowhere. We will be stuck here, basically. That at least that desire and the motivation should be there.
Should be there. Yes. So we have to have that desire in a tivra format to do the bhakti, and anything else should be disregarded, or it should be used as a accompaniment to help us in the bhakti. Like jnana karma can be used as accompaniment, varnashram dharma. If that helps us to increase or go deeper in bhakti, okay, welcome. So that is the yuktivara. Other point also that was covered is uh, jnana and karma. They also give us rewards, but that is only by the blessing of bhakti. The impersonal form realization, jnana realization, that also whatever realization we get is because of the blessings of Mother Bhakti. So that is what was the importance of the bhakti. And finally, what is bhakti? As you said, Anya Abhilashita, that defines, and it refers to the ninefold Navida Bhakti, starting with hearing about Krishna. Okay. So now let's move to next slide. Right. So this is again one more important slide here. Okay. Yeah, here it is. How can the impersonalist realize the Paramatma or the Lord?
Yeah, Prabhuji. So it is purifying the mind and senses. Basically, again, coming out of jnana and jnana, concepts of material distinction and attachment to the material sense object, attachment to material sense. So getting away from the material sense gratification and basically direct perception, purifying the mind and senses. Only this way your personal picture manifest itself can you can go beyond that. That's
Correct, Prabhu. So the key, message from this slide is here, which is Bhagwan realization possible only by Lord's mercy and the devotee engagement in Navida Bhakti, disregarding Varnashram and Jnana Karma, or leveraging or using that if that is helping in Bhakti. So this point here, Brahmaji says that how difficult it is for those in impersonal or other Gyan, they can only get a very, very fractional part, but that too by the mercy of Bhakti Ji. That is what it is. So now the next question.
The key word is here. Those who are on a Jnana platform, see those impersonalists, they study Vedanta and all these things, so that is fine, Brahmaji says, but you have what called Jnana Mishra Bhakti. That means you have that Jnana, the impersonal knowledge and all that thing. But if you mix with the Bhakti process, then that will be a step forward towards coming to Bhagavan realization eventually, Bhaktya Mam Avijanati. So everybody has to ultimately come to Bhakti platform. And Jnana is not the one that gives Bhakti. Bhakti itself gives Jnana. But that Jnana is not speculative knowledge then. That knowledge Krishna gives is how to come actively towards him. That knowledge is more important than Brahmaji is emphasizing. So Jnana Mishra Bhakti is a step forward to coming completely on a Bhakti platform later on. As Krishna also says, right? Bahunam janma ante jnanavan mam prapadyante. So it takes many, many lifetimes those gyanis to come to bhakti platform, but ultimately they will come. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Wonderful. So we continue. There are just 3 more slides, so we'll finish in time. I think I have at least 15-20 minutes more. Am I right, Prabhuji, Mataji? How much time do I have? Okay, I will continue. So next, why is Lord Krishna called as Gunatma? राजकुमारी माता जी आप नहीं बोल रहे हैं ये बार क्या हो
मैं प्रभु जी मैं पढ़ नहीं पाई, मेरी वो ये डिलीट हो गई है मेल्स वगैरह, पता नहीं कैसे।
ओह माय गॉड अच्छा आप स्क्रीन पे देखिए हम शेयर किए हैं देखिए
हाँ,
आपको
वो
दिखता है
मैं वो इसलिए नहीं मैं पढ़ रही कि ये तो लिखा ही, ये तो इसमें ही है।
हाँ बस वही पढ़ना है
ओके ओके।
हम्म,
Supreme God explains that Lord Krishna is Gunatma, the soul of all superior qualities, because he gives them life. He descends to the material world and re-established religious principle by exhibiting all godly qualities himself and inspiring them in others.
correct. So why is he called Gunatma? That is the
He
reason.
further explains that Lord manifests a specific spiritual quality for the benefit of each individual living.
Yes, Bharati. That's how. So Gunatma means he is soul of all superior qualities. Thank you, Madhuri. That is the answer here. Because he gives us life, we are part of him, and then he also comes to the material world. So this is the mercy of the Lord, and that's why this is his quality. And even in the material world, because we want to forget him, that's why he's not directly visible. He's there as Paramatma. When we have the desire to see him, then and we perform the bhakti, then gradually we get the realization. Right? So that is the point here. Now the key point over here is what Mataji mentioned. I will not ask this as a question, but just revise it for everyone, that all of us, individual living being, we have a very unique relation with the Lord, and Lord enjoys with us in that unique relation. So we should not be jealous or worried or concerned either way that other devotee has more or less. We also have the unique relation. Our job is to re-establish that through the process of devotional service. So now moving ahead, next question. 1 minute, suppose. So explain how the qualities of Lord are infinite. That also I touched here, because we are all infinite part and parcel. We all have a unique relation and so many different qualities. The Lord also has infinite qualities, and there are some examples given here, like how this the Shankarshan is like continuously singing and still not. He's completed in his recitation of the glories of the Lord. So now comes the most beautiful verse, the Tenu Kampa, right? So for whom does the liberation becomes a rightful claim? For whom does liberation becomes a rightful claim? If someone may volunteer to read this. Okay.
Hare Krishna,
I will
Prabhu.
do. Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, Prabhu. Go ahead, Prabhu.
Okay,
Go ahead.
Mataji, go.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay, I will do.
Mataji.
I will do. I
अच्छा,
will
ठीक
do.
है,
I
आप
think
कर
is
दीजिए. Yes,
yeah.
yes, madam.
So
Go ahead.
one who earnestly waits for you to bestow your causeless mercy upon him, all the while patiently suffering the reactions of his past mistakes and offering you respectful obeisances with his mana, vacha, and karma, is surely eligible for liberation. This is the main thing. So basically to Lord's mercy, and we have to go through whatever prarabdha we are having. You go through patiently and worship Lord. That the
Hare
three things are
Krishna.
mentioned.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. I just want to say that I missed one point here when I was mentioning. Yes, we have to patiently wait, but we have to. Main thing is like avashya rakshibe Krishna Vishwasa Palan. So we have to always remember that Krishna will definitely protect us. So we have to have that in mind while we are suffering. Not that all the time we're just suffering. Oh, I'm just suffering for the sake of suffering. Not like that, but having in mind that Krishna will definitely protect me. So here is all the while patiently suffering, but the main thing is the first part. Earnestly wait for you to bestow your causeless mercy upon me. I missed that point last time. Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji. And also, Mataji, in the section covered a wonderful pastime from Chaitanya Charitamrita about Bhakti Pade and Mukti Pade. I will not repeat that. We have the recordings in YouTube. Please see them. It's a very, very relishing and wonderful. But in short, how here the liberation does not mean that moksha of impersonalities. Here the liberation means bhakti, right? We get our spiritual form or spiritual bhakti back. So moving on. Okay. So this again, the next section. Here, Brahmaji is profusely repenting with humility, and he begs the Lord for forgiveness. He says that although he is born in Rajaguna, but yet he is son of Garbhodakshay Vishnu, who is like expansion of Krishna. So he begs for mercy. And then through Guru Kripa, disciple, the takeaway is through Guru Kripa, the disciple realizes the signs of Vrindavan.
1 minute, Prabhuji. Ek minute.
Yes, yes.
See, he is born in Rajaguna. One has to properly understand what it means actually. Because remember, he is given the charge for secondary creation. So whenever you talk about creation, you have to have passion for that, right? So that is why Rajaguna, he says himself in the Rajaguna, but he is a great personality actually, and he's a great devotee of the Lord. And he is holding a position of Brahma, which is very, very difficult for an average person, So he, out of his humility, he says, I am born in Rajaguna, but that Rajaguna he is doing the service of the Lord. Lord had assigned him to do the secondary creation, Visarga. Primary creation is called Sarga. So anything, whenever you're talking about a creation, that you need to have a passion. You need to have a Rajaguna for that. So that's what you need to understand that. Okay? Hare Krishna.
Yes. So I think it would also be correct to say that, or let me know that he is a controller or in charge of Rajoguna. He's not controlled by Rajoguna to the point.
That's right.
But out of humility, here he is telling here. Okay. So what act? So we will go through the through this verses deeply now, which is Brahma's very, very humble prayer. So what act of Brahma he himself call as his contemptible behavior or anaryam? Mataji, one of you was trying to do last time, so maybe you can try now. Was it Lalita Priya Mataji? What act of Brahma he is calling as himself saying as anaryam?
May I, Prabhuji?
Yes, yes, Mataji.
Brahma said that you are to Lord Krishna that you are my father, because Brahma is born from Garbhodayak Vishnu, and the source of and he's the source of everything. And yet, misusing my power, I try to extend my illusionary potency to you, to cover you, para Atmani, the super soul. Brahma is saying that I try to bewilder you, the super soul, which I should not do.
Correct. So
This
that is
the
what.
main thing. This thing, this the point Brahma wants to say to Lord Krishna.
Yes, Mataji. So that is what he says as anaryam. That is not a right behavior. That
Anariam. Yes, yes,
he
Prabhu.
being a
Anarya means uncivilized behavior, you know.
Not
Arya
Anariam.
means civilized.
Arya is civilized.
Anarya means opposite of it.
Opposite of
Uncivilized.
this. Yes, Bhaiji.
correct.
Prabhuji, this same word is there in Bhagavad Gita also, right?
I
Second
was
chapter.
thinking the same. Yes.
Same, yeah.
Arjun calls himself as, or
Yeah,
Krishna
Anarya.
tells him as Anarya, right? What you're thinking. Correct, correct. Absolutely correct, Prabhuji.
अनार्यजुष्टम् अस्वर्ग्यं कीर्तिं करम अर्जुन.
Yes, yes, Mataji. Thank you. Thank you. Very nice. So that is what he quotes. Okay. But then why does he say that I deserve your mercy? Why?
Because Brahma said that you are my father. So, as I am your son, desire for the mercy.
Yeah, both. I am both your servant and your son. So
Yes, servant and
whatever is
son.
So father doesn't take a son's misbehavior really. He doesn't take it that way, you know. So he's pointing on that I am your son, you know. So बहुत सारी मैंने mistake किए हैं, मगर please forgive me for that because I am your son, you know. So basically that's what he's very humbly praying to him, you know. He
Yes,
considered, he said that he is my father, you know.
Yes, Prabhuji. Bhaiji.
Yeah.
And like just like the mother also does not take a cake of a child in the womb. Okay. So why is Lord's name as Narayan? One of the name of Lord is named Narayan. Why is Brahma saying that? He's explaining why is he called Narayan. May someone read that part?
Because he is
Lord
the
Narayan.
generating. Sorry, Mataji said.
नहीं आप बोलिए प्लीज.
Because he is the generating source of the primeval water of the universe. He is real, not a product of your illusory Maya.
Correct. Yes. So Narayan is named as that because he is as you just said. So correct.
Yes.
Right. And then what proves that whole universe is a transcendental body of the Lord? That is the last part. Okay, I will read it quickly. So like everything is within the Lord and outside the Lord, and then this was demonstrated by the Lord when he exhibited this form to Mother Yashoda, right? So everything, including the Lord himself, was visible inside the belly of the Lord. So everything is created by the Lord, within the Lord, and Lord is free to move and go everywhere, right? So let's go to the next slide. Thank you all for chiming in. And then so how has the Lord shown the Aishwarya Bhav to Lord Brahma? How did Brahma witness the Aishwarya Bhava of the Lord?
First he appeared alone, and then he again appeared, as expanded himself as Vrindavana's calves and cowherd boys and friends. Next, then he appeared as an equal number of 400 Vishnu forms who were worshipped by all living beings, including Brahma. And after that, he appeared as an equal number of complete universes. Finally, Brahma says, you have now returned to your unlimited form as the supreme absolute truth, one without a second.
So the way Lord Brahma had this is exactly what he said, Mataji. The unlimited expansions of the Vishnu Murti, and then Lord also had to stop when Brahma could not take it. So that is the Aishwarya Bhava. Okay. Now, here then, what are the other Shaktis mentioned of the Lord, of the transcendental form of the Lord? Okay, I will read this one. That is the Samdini Shakti. Yes, please read it.
Sandipni, Samvit, and Aladni Shakti.
Okay. And then all these Shaktis are explained in those verses, and we also briefly touched that in the last class. Okay. Finally, here, I think this is the last slide. So, how does one realize Sri Nandanandana Krishna?
Prabhu, I have not done this slide.
Oh, you're not done this? Okay. Okay, that's what I was confused about. Okay, then with that, I complete the revision. All right.
Thank
Is
you very
there
much, Prabhuji.
anything- Yeah.
Thank you so much, Sanjeev Prabhuji. And thank you all for participating so actively. I really appreciate very much that. Go ahead, Mataji.
Thank you very much. Seeking the blessings of Charad Prabhu, Sharad Prabhu, and all the assembled devotees, I will begin my presentation. Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langhayate girim tat kripatamaham vande Shri Gurun Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram. So I will share the screen. I hope the screen is visible.
Yes.
Yes, Mother. Yes.
Thank you so much. So we'll begin. Hare Krishna, Namaskar, Hare Krishna, 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 Vedanta Swami, Namaste, Saraswati, So today we are going to see the next part of Brahmaji's prayers, which we chanted earlier in the class today. So we will begin with the theme 5. As Brahmaji says, he was born in Rajoguna. He is the son of Garbhodakshai Vishnu and the original Narayana. So therefore he deserves his mercy. So we just now saw how that it's his humility in saying that he was born in Rajoguna. He is our Sampradaya Acharya's head, Brahmaji. So how could he be in Rajoguna? He is not in Rajoguna, but he is the master of Rajoguna, or is controlling Rajoguna. He is a Gunavatar of the Lord himself. So he is a Gunavatar of Mahavishnu. So we will see today how he is praying so wonderfully. Am I on the right slide? Okay, today he is going to talk about through Guru Kripa, the disciple realizes the science of Vrindavan Krishna. No more illusion of roop as snake. This is by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. How he is going to explain is now we're going to see this. How does one realize Bhagavan Sri Nandanandana Krishna? So right now we saw the description of Krishna. We saw how he was Nandanandana Krishna, but now how do we realize him? So those who have received the clear vision of knowledge from the sun-like spiritual master. So now what is the most important point here? A sun-like spiritual master. So we have to have a sun-like spiritual master. That person can see you in this way. Which way? As the very soul of all souls. So we can see him as the super soul of everyone's own self. Thus, understanding your original personality, that means those who have a spiritual master like a sun, they are able to cross over the ocean of illusory material existence. So this is what Brahmaji is saying. That way, one attains the neutral stage of devotional service or Shantarati. How does this take place? How does this Shantarati stage takes place? By studying the Upanishad under the spiritual master and by obtaining his mercy One attains a proper vision to see Krishna as Paramatma and the knowledge to cross over the ocean of illusions known as material existence. So we have seen this a number of times in our scriptures, as well as recently in the Srimad Bhagavatam, in the second chapter of 10th canto also, there was one verse that was also very similar to one verse which is going to come shortly. That verse which is going to come shortly is going to come in the same chapter, 14th chapter, as the 58th verse. So let me tell you about this verse from chapter 2 of the 10th canto. त्वय्यम्बुजाक्षाखिलसत्त्वधाम्नि समाधिनावेशितचेतसैके त्वत्पादपोतेन महत्कृतेन कुर्वन्ति गोवत्सपदं भवाब्धिम्. I'll tell you the translation. O lotus-eyed Lord, by concentrating one's meditation on your lotus feet, which are the reservoir of all existence, and by accepting those lotus feet as the boat. Okay, so first concentrate on the lotus feet of the Lord, then accept those lotus feet as a boat by which to cross the ocean of nations. One follows in the footsteps of Mahajana. So here the Guru comes into picture. So one follows in the footsteps of Mahajanas, great saints, sages, and devotees. By this simple process, one can cross the ocean of nations as easily as one steps over a hoof print of a calf. So the water contained in the hoof print of a calf is so little, anyone can easily cross. So the whole Bhavambudhi, the whole material existence, it becomes like that hoof print of a calf, that water in that hoof print. Similar shloka is going to come soon in as a 58th verse. Samashitaye padapallavaplavam महत्पदं पुण्ययशो मुरारे भवाम्बुधिवत्स परम padam padam yatvipadam natesham. So for one who has accepted the boat of the lotus feet of the Lord, very similar, isn't it? One who has accepted the boat of the lotus feet of the Lord, who is the shelter of this cosmic manifestation and is famous as Murari, the enemy of the demon Mura. The ocean of material world is like a water contained in a calf's hoof print. His goal is Param Padam or Vaikuntha, the place where there are no material miseries, not the place where there is danger at every step. So here, these two shlokas are telling us how we should take the shelter of the sun-like spiritual master, isn't it? So that we can cross over this material illusion like very easily, like how easy it is to just step over a puddle, isn't it? Then next shloka says, a person who mistakes a rope for a snake becomes fearful, but then he gives up his fear upon realizing that the so-called snake does not exist. Similarly, so how does he give up his fear? He realizes that, oh, this is not a snake, this is just a rope. Similarly, for those who fail to recognize you as the supreme soul of all souls, the expansive illusory material existence arises. So now if we don't, the previous shloka says what? Taking shelter of a spiritual master, we know who is Krishna. He is the soul of all the souls. Next shloka says, if we don't recognize him as the supreme soul of all souls, then what happens? Illusory material existence, the Maya, is going to cover us. So, but knowledge of you at once causes it to subside. So this whole material world is just because it's illusory, it's expansive illusory, and the moment we have knowledge, because we have no knowledge of the Bhagavat Jnanam, we don't have Bhagavat Tattva Jnanam. So we don't have the Vijnanam, we don't have the Jnanam of Bhagavan, and therefore this whole material illusion is making its play in front of our eyes. But the moment we have knowledge of Bhagavan from our spiritual master, everything subsides. Everything subsides. Then what is there to cross over this material? There is no material universe. There's no illusion in front of us. Then what is there? So do they cross the ocean of Maya or not? What do you say? As if they transcend. As if they transcend. Why does it say as if they transcend? Why did this previous verse say that the material world is false or unreal? Why was it said like that? Is it false or unreal? The verse 24 and 25 describe the Vivartavada theory of impersonalists. What the impersonalists claim? They claim material world as unreal, false. And And the act of transcending the material world is also unreal and false. So they don't see to this Vaishnava side, that is Samashitaye Padapallava. You take ashraya of the lotus feet of the spiritual master and cross over the, take the boat of the lotus feet of the Lord and cross over this. There's no material existence at all. What is there to cross? That's what is the Vivartavada of the Mayavadis. So it is because of ignorance that no one can understand the true nature of the soul. And because of that, the material world was created. So we don't understand who we are. We are the spirit soul. And we think we are the body. We think we are the senses. And we think that we have to enjoy this body and these senses. And for that, the material world was created. So because of this ignorance, material world was created. The moment we get knowledge, then the material world ceases to exist. So here is a difference in Vivartavada. That is, the impersonalist think there is no material world at all. It's just like a unreal thing which is in front of us, and it will just disappear the moment we get knowledge. And whereas the Vaishnavas, they know that Maya is creating this world. The world is real, but it is temporary. That is why we say that the world is real, but it is as it can become as small as a hoof print of a calf, a puddle or the water in the hoof print of a calf, so that we can easily cross over the material world and go back to the spiritual world. How can we say that something which comes out of Krishna as Maya is unreal totally? There is no existence. There is no existence of this universe at all. We cannot say that. There is Brahmaji, there is this universe, there is the creation, there is Sarga, there is Visarga, there is everything. Then we are also existing, just that the form in which we are existing is unreal. Maybe this body is temporary. This body is given to us, isn't it? It is here with us. The mind is also with us. Isn't it the mind with which which helps us to come out of this bodily concept? We have to use this mind which is given to us, which is also material, which is given to us by the Maya itself. But this mind, this very mind itself will help us to come out of this bodily concept of life. And then we can be eligible to go back to the spiritual world by getting a spiritual body. So it is not that this is totally false. It is just a temporary. It is a temporary playground for all the jivas who have come here to play and try to come out of this ignorance. Try to come out of this ignorance that I am the body, and come out of this ignorance and get to know that who is the soul, that we are the soul, and who is the super soul, that Krishna is the super soul, and what is our relationship, that the soul is a part and parcel of the super soul. So then we go to the next shloka. The idea of material bondage and liberation are both illusions. When one is situated in the transcendental knowledge, one knows that they are not different from each other. When one understands that he is a pure spirit soul, different from the external material body, then he no longer is bewildered by the illusion of material bondage and liberation. Now take the example of the snake and the rope. So now the moment you see this rope and you think it is a snake, that means you have no knowledge. It is dark. You cannot see. So because of you cannot see clearly, you see the rope as a snake, isn't it? Similarly, we cannot see, we don't have knowledge. Therefore, we think that this body is ourselves. But when one understands that one is a pure spirit soul, different from this material body, then he is not bewildered by the illusion of the material bondage. So we do not get, so therefore the pure devotees who are staying in this material world, we see them also like our spiritual master, sun-like spiritual master. He's also along with us. He also seems to have a material body. He also seems to is in this material world, but he is not at all in the illusion of material bondage. So therefore, there is nothing like bondage and liberation for a person who is in knowledge. He is already, just like, for example, we are coming to it next in the next slide, but just to give another example is like when the sun is very brightly shining, there is no difference between day and night for that particular, because if the sun is in a person in the sun planet, let us say we are going inside the sun planet. So do we have anything called as night? We have nothing called as night and day. There is no duality. So like that, there is no duality when for a person who is like a sun-like spiritual master. So a sun-like spiritual master has no duality. He is just like that. We are also have to come out of this illusion of duality and go back to the spiritual world. So we go to the next slide. Here the same thing continues, and how, as we are going to see the shlokas 27 and 28. How astounding is the ignorance of people, Brahmaji is saying, thinking that you, the soul, are one thing and that the self is another thing. They are under the impression that the soul is to be sought externally. Which soul? The soul is with a capital S. That means Krishna's soul. So they think the Krishna has a body and Krishna has a soul. So Brahma is astounded. What is this? What is this ignorance of these people? They are thinking that you are different from your soul and that you have to be sought out outside of your body, or thinking that you, Brahman, are the eminent soul. Ignorant believe that. That means we say Aham Brahmasmi. So we say Aham Brahmasmi. That another this soul is written with a small s. You see here, it's written with a small s here. So this soul means us. So if we think that Krishna is us, that is the same as us. So that is our ignorance. Ignorant believe that Brahman should be sought outside of you. How can it be? How can we seek out Krishna outside of Krishna? How silly of them. This is what Sridhar Swami is saying. Then Brahma is praising those who give up everything, although they know Jiva Tattva and Ishwar Tattva, and look for Krishna in Vrindavan. So this is another side of it, that where Brahmaji is praising, yes, some people do search out for Krishna. Where do they search out for Krishna? They look for Krishna in Vrindavan, because Krishna is everywhere in Vrindavan. He is in every, we can say in every living entity, actually is in everywhere, in every atom also. But you can look for him in Vrindavan. He is easily found because he is there always. It is that he is there always. So the people who are intelligent, they give up everything and they go and search out for Krishna in Vrindavan. Said by Sanatan Goswami and Jiva Goswami. Then the saintly devotees who seek you out within their own bodies by rejecting everything separate from you. Indeed, how can discriminating persons appreciate the real nature of a rope lying before them until they refute the illusion that it is a snake? So now here we have to do something called as neti, that is refuting. What is that? We have to refute that this is not a snake. Only then you will appreciate the real nature of the rope lying in front of us, right? Similarly, we have to say that we are not this body. Then only we will know that we are this soul, isn't it? So then we will appreciate, yes, this is the real nature of me. I am the spirit soul. So saintly devotees, what do? They seek out Krishna within their own bodies, that is Paramatma, by rejecting everything separate from you. So whatever is other than Paramatma, that is the material body, the senses, etc., all are separated out. And then they come to the Paramatma, that is the Ashtanga Yoga process. So one may argue that a person should cultivate self-realization at the same time pursue sense gratification for the material body. Yes, sometimes may say, why not? I can also be Krishna conscious. And because I have been given this material body, why then Krishna gave me a body? Krishna has given me this body, isn't it? I have these senses. Krishna gave me these senses. So when Krishna has given me this body and the senses, why cannot I enjoy also? I will worship Krishna, and at the same time, I will also enjoy this body which Krishna has given me. So this proposition is herein refuted by the example of misidentifying a rope as a snake. So as long as we are in this enjoyment process, how can we refute? How can you say that, no, this is not me, this body is not me, I am the spirit soul? How can you say that? So you will keep on thinking that this is a snake, and also it could be a rope, and also it could be a snake, and also it could be a rope. So we will be going into that circle as we are going now in the samsara circle. And this is a body, and then we are also doing a little Krishna consciousness. Yes, Krishna is there, but my body is also there. So my body is also true, and my body is also permanent, and Krishna is also there, and Krishna is also permanent. So if we keep on thinking like this, we will go into a loop. So one who mistakes a rope for a snake becomes fearful and thinks of the so-called snake. Isn't it? Now, if you mistake it for a snake, okay, thinking that it looks very real, like a snake itself, then we will become fearful, isn't it? But once we immediately discover that, oh, this is not a snake, this is only a rope, then what happens? A different emotion comes. What that is relief. Ah, this is finally, it's not a snake at all, it's only a rope. Then we can ignore the rope. Similarly, if we come to know that this material body, if we must misunderstand this material body to be the self, then we are experiencing so many emotions, isn't it, in relationship to this body. Oh, this is hot, this is cold, I'm feeling hot, I'm feeling cold, I'm feeling sad, I'm feeling happy. All these things are coming as emotions to us. Every one of us are experiencing it every day, every moment. We are experiencing all these things. But because of this misunderstanding that we are this body, upon discovering that this body is simply a bag of material chemicals, if we carefully note how this illusion was created and then lose the interest in this body, just as when we discover that this is not a snake, this is only a rope, then who will care for the rope? It's just lying in the corner. Similarly, if we know that, oh, this is not my body, I'm not this body, I'm the soul. So once you know I'm not this body, once we come to realize that, we'll just put the body aside. Just like Jadabharat or any other disciple, any other devotee, like you have that Brahmana uh, who was met in the 11th canto. There's one Brahmana sannyasi who was met, who was also giving his knowledge. And Prahlad Maharaj also met one personality who was acting in the Ajagara Vritti. So like that, there are many devotees who immediately know that this body is just an illusion, and I'm not this body, and I'm only the spirit soul. The moment they know this, the jnana comes. The moment they know it, realize it, then they lose interest in the body. Discovering that we are actually an eternal soul within the body, we naturally will focus our attention on whom? On the real self, on our soul, right? We will not focus on the body at all. So we'll be focusing on the soul. So we go to the next. In this, how we should act so that we can attract the mercy of Krishna. That we will see in this sloka. So here it says, my Lord, if one is favored by even a slight trace of the mercy of your lotus feet, just little bit mercy, just a drop of mercy, then he can understand the greatness of your personality. But those who speculate to understand Bhagavan, Sri Nandanandan Krishna, are unable to know you, even though they continue to study the Vedas for many, 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 many years. So, Bahunam Janmanam Ante Jnanavan Mam Prapadyate. So, when the Jnani is after many, many years, means many, many Janmas, when they do Prapannam to Krishna, when they become surrendered to Krishna, and when they receive the mercy, only then they understand the greatness of Krishna. We have this Panthastu Kotishatavatara Sampragamyo Vayo Athapi Manaso Muni Pungavanam. So who are these Muni Pungavana? Or the great saints, sages, who are traveling in what speed? Who are traveling in the speed of the mind or Vayu. Vayo Athapi Manaso Muni Pungavana. So Pyasiyat Prapadasimya Vichintya Tatve Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. That means even then they will not be able to understand you. Govinda, oh Krishna, this is another prayer of Lord Brahmaji in Brahma Samhita. He's saying, unless and until they get a slight trace of mercy from your lotus feet, they will never be able to understand your greatness or your personality or who you are. By Krishna's mercy, that means they're trying to do it from their own, they're trying to travel at the speed of mind, they're trying to travel in the speed of air, like this, but by their own speculation, by their own way. Muni Pungavana, maybe they are very pure, they're very saintly, but they, unless and until there is a mercy of the lotus feet of Krishna, with our own capacity, we will not be able to understand. We will not be able to understand the Bhagavan, Nandanandan Krishna. So by Krishna's mercy, one can know the Supreme Brahman. What is Sridhar Swami saying? By only his mercy we can know him. So to obtain a particle of Krishna's mercy means that the Jnani is performing mixed devotional service. Definitely has performed mixed devotion. Jnani, if he has, let us say, Falena Parichete, if you see the Phala, then you will know what that person has done. If a Jnani is supposedly getting the result to understand the Supreme Brahman, let us say a Jnani has understood Supreme Brahman, immediately we should know he has performed mixed devotional service. What is that mixed devotional service? He has performed jnana mixed with bhakti. The Lord bestows the mercy of bhakti yoga to that jnani who is giving up avidya and vidya and accepts pure bhakti. So when the jnani is doing this mixed devotional service, Krishna is bestowing as well as Bhakti Devi. Radharani is blessing him with the fruits of that bhakti yoga, that little bhakti which is doing along with the jnana. So then what happens? The bhakti is increasing, jnana is decreasing. Jnana is decreasing in the sense not that intelligence is decreasing, but the jnana yoga which is doing, trying to attain the speculative jnana, that is decreasing, and bhakti yoga is increasing, and pure bhakti is accepted by that devotee. So, however, one who gives up bhakti in preference to jnana and enthusiastically pursues Brahman, though he is a guru for thousands of jnanis, studies scriptures and practices yoga for a long time, will never know the true nature of the Lord. So let us say when he is doing bhakti and jnana Mishrita Bhakti, and then he is getting little bit knowledge of the Supreme Brahman. Because of that bhakti, he is getting little bit knowledge of the Supreme Brahman. And let us say he is going to now disregard the bhakti and only continue preferring jnana and enthusiastically pursuing that jnana and he may be a guru now for thousands of other jnanis like that, and he may be studying scriptures and he may be practicing yoga for a long time, but he will never know the true nature of the Lord. That is confirmed by who? None other than Sridhar Swami, who is also like a guru in that actually in those days he was a guru in that impersonalist sampradaya, but still he is saying this. So we should know. Any other one who is devoid of mercy, who is alone, without associating with anyone, or even someone who is the best, such as Rudra, and even though that person is pondering, what is the nature of his glory like, and what is the extent of it? By studying scriptures and is seeking by practicing yoga, does not know it. The same thing as if he is not associating with anybody, if he is all alone, if he is trying on his own, if he is doing his speculative, trying to be speculative and understanding Krishna, then is it possible he does not know it at all? So what is the nature of his glory like? What is the nature of Krishna's glory, and what is the extent of it? By studying scriptures and is seeking by practicing yoga, he does not know it. He's trying his best on his own. He is not taking any help of neither the mercy of the Guru nor the mercy of Krishna. Then he will not know it. The word iota is used in the intent to express that his mercy will gradually increase and there will be a full attainment of it. So if by chance, if he gets an iota, means a little trace, slight trace of the mercy of the lotus feet, then that will start increasing. That bhakti will, although it is a slight mercy, but that is enough so that the bhakti will start to increase gradually, and that will grow and then finally he will get to know Krishna. By only bhakti it is possible, and by no other way. So shall we take a break now for a few minutes? 3 minutes?
Yes, if you want, you can take a break or we can continue.
हरे कृष्ण माता जी, दंडवत प्रणाम.
Hare Krishna.
Mataji, the word iota, we can relate with that word sadhu sang, sarva shastra ka hai. Lava matra sadhu sang, sarva siddhi hai.
Yes, very nice. Definitely.
Okay.
It is from the Srimad Chaitanya Charitamrita.
Chaitanya Charitamrita. Yes, Mataji.
So lava means it's just a very small, tiny second, part of a second. Tiny part of a second. That small, tiny part of a second, that time also, if you get sadhu sangha, if you're able to get sadhu sangha, pure devotees association, then all the siddhis will become yours. Sarva siddhi hoy. Sarva siddhi hoy means you will get all the siddhis. Like we can sadhana siddha, you can become sadhana siddha also. And if the guru gives you, if that devotee, even that lava matra, if that lava matra time, in that little time, if the guru gives you mercy, then you will become kripa siddha. So like that, we can get the mercy even in a short, minuscule second. Also, we can get the mercy after that. Anybody, Sharad Prabhu or Charu Prabhu, would you like to add something to whatever I have said? I don't know whether I have done justice to your slides, Prabhu.
Mataji, you're doing so good. There's nothing more to add. You're covering all the points now.
Okay, thank you, Prabhu.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Mataji, will you send me the PPT 44, lesson 44 onwards?
It is there in the Gmail.
Mataji, I have shared in your WhatsApp, Mataji.
Okay. Thank
From
you.
42 to 46, 45.
Okay, thank you,
Please
Raksha
check.
Mataji.
Yes, Mataji.
Raksamani, you're not getting my PowerPoints?
नहीं माता प्रभु जी राजकुमारी माता जी का कुछ डिलीट हो गया है तो वो उन्होंने वापस चाहिए
पावर पॉइंट्स मेरे ये 42 ऑनवर्ड्स मेरा डिलीट हो गया था तो मैंने रक्षा माता जी को बोला था तो ये इन्होंने बोला था कि मैं देखती हूँ अगर होंगी तो भेजूंगी तो
मैं भेज दूंगा आपको
नहीं इन्होंने
भेज दिया ऑलरेडी आई हैव सेंड
माता जी ने भेज दिया अभी अभी इन्होंने बताया मेरे को
मैंने आपके व्हाट्सएप कर दिया माता जी प्लीज चेक कर लीजिए
ओह थैंक यू माता जी थैंक यू सो मच
Hare Krishna, Archana Mataji.
Yes.
So you made one point as if it is unreal, right? Or as if it is real. Why is it? So you raised a question. Why is it being mentioned as if? But I did not get the correct answer.
Okay. I will.
You understand? Like there is आपने बोला. I mean, I understand the philosophy. But आपने बोला as if it is. So why so? So can you repeat that part if okay?
Yes, I will. I'm just coming to that slide. Yes, here. This part. So, see, this is the Vivartavada we were talking about. So, do they cross the ocean of Maya or not? Because if there is no Maya, that is the impersonalists, what do they say? That there is no Maya, isn't it? They said there is no Maya. So, if there is no Maya, is there a process of crossing it as if they transcend? Why do you say as if they transcend? Why did the previous verse say that the material world is false or unreal? Because it's describing in the verse 25 and 25 describe the Vivartavada theory of the impersonalists. So they are claiming that the material world is unreal. So therefore, what is there to transcend?
Excuse me, Mataji.
Yes.
This lesson 47.
Yes.
Which is the appendix of chapter 14. Yes. We'll be talking a great deal both the Vibhartavada theory as well as Parinamavada theory, So
Okay.
hold on till that. Yeah, everything will become clearer.
Yes. Yes.
Hi, boy.
Okay, Sanjeev Prabhu, for now it is this much, and later on it will become more clear when we are going to hear from Charu Prabhu, I guess, because I may not be able.
Okay. Sure, sure, Prabhu. Sure, Mataji. Thank you.
That
Prabhu, you
lesson
will be
will cover
holding.
this.
Prabhu,
That
you will
lesson
cover
47. That lesson 47 I will cover.
that. Okay,
That's
thank
on
you, Prabhu.
day two next. Actually, right tomorrow, I think.
Okay, Prabhu. Thank you so much. Because it's beyond me.
We changed the schedule, right? These training demos are there. That's why
Yes, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu.
we are lagging behind. Thank you.
Thank you. So we'll continue now.
Yes,
Yes, Mataji.
So now we come to the slide 16. Here we have the theme of glorification of the Vrajavasis and Krishna's abode of Vrindavan. So until the end of this chapter, today's presentation, we are going to do this now. We are going to glorify the Vrajavasis and we are going to glorify Krishna's Vrindavan. So the first part will be of Vatsalya and Sakhya Prema of the Ragatmika Vrajavasis who relish intimate relationship with Nandanandana Krishna. That is so important. And then may he be born in Vrindavan as a, this is Brahmaji's prayers. He is saying that may I be born in Vrindavan as even a blade of grass or a bush or a creeper. And then Brahmaji takes leave of Krishna after circumambulating around him for 3 times. So this we will see. So in the first part, we will see Brahmaji is saying, whether I get a high birth as Brahma or as a low birth born in one of the animal species, kindly let me be counted as one of your devotees. This is very, very nicely expressed by our acharyas like Bhaktivinoda Thakur. If you have heard of his beautiful song Manas Deho Geho, Jo Kichu More, Arpila Tua Pade, Nanda Kishore. So he's telling Nandanandana Krishna that Kita Janama Ho Yatha Tua Das, Bahirmukha Ban Brahma Janme Nahi Moras, Janma Obi Moe Ichha Jadi Tora, Bhakta Grihe Jani Janma Ho Mora. So what are these two things? So these 2 lines in his prayer of Manasa Deho Gaya. Manasa Deho Gaya is a very famous song. I think most of you have heard this song. In this song, it says, Janma Obi, if you want to say that, no, you have to take a birth. That means you are making me take a birth. Krishna, if you are going to make me take a birth again, then Ichha Jaditora, if your Ichha is like that, then Bhakta Grihe, in a house of a devotee, let me be born. Jani Janma Haumura, let me be born in a devotee. That is one line. Another line it says that Kita Janama Hau Yathatu Das. Let me be born even as an insect, but let me be born as a devotee, as your devotee. Kita Janama Hau Yathatu Das, Bahirmukha Brahma Janme Nahi Moras. That means even if you give me a post of Brahma, and if I become averse to you, I don't want that kind of a birth. I don't want that elevated birth of a Brahma if I am going to become averse to you. So this is very the beautiful song of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, and I thought it was very appropriate here, so I just mentioned it. So here Brahmaji is saying, I prayed to become your devotee, but certainly not your Ragatmika Vatsalya and Sakhya Bhakta, because how is it possible? I'm not qualified to become a Ragatmika devotee. Oh, we learned about who are Ragatmika devotees. Ragatmika and Raganuga. Ragatmika devotees are very close associates of Krishna like Yashoda, Nanda Baba, Radharani, all the other gopis and cowherd boyfriends in Vatsalya, in Madhurya, in Sakhya, all these, they are the Ragatmika. Permanently they are with Krishna all the time. They are the associates and the dear relatives of Krishna. And Brahmaji is saying, I am not qualified, because Brahma is a post, just like Indra is a post. So a person who is qualified to become a Brahma or a Indra is given that post. So Brahmaji is saying, I am not qualified to become a Ragatmika. Then what can I become? I can become a Raganuga. I can become a Dasya Bhakta. I can become a devotee of your Ragatmika Bhaktas. So all I can do is to glorify and serve them. I can serve the Ragatmika devotees. And since your mercy is achieved only when one has this servitude, the Dasya Bhava towards you, therefore I beg you to be your Raganuga Dasya Bhakta. So Brahmaji is saying, I cannot become Ragatmika. I cannot have that kind of elevated rasa of Vatsalya, Sakhya and Madhurya, but I can have this Dasya Bhava, and I can serve those Ragatmika devotees and become a Raganuga Dasya Bhakta. Very important.
So, Mataji,
point.
can you please explain what is Raganuga Bhakta?
Yes. Raganuga Bhakta is, Raga means what? It is Ragatmika. What is, first of all, Raga? Raga means that kind of a attachment. That kind of an attachment which is so deep. So now this attachment, Ragatmika, is this deep attachment towards Krishna in Vatsalya, Sakhya and Madhurya Ras. This attachment is very strong and very solid. And the similar attachment Brahmaji wants to have to these Ragatmika devotees in the Dasya Bhava. So Anuga means to a follower. A follower of that Ragatmika devotee is Raganuga. Anuga means to follow, and Raga means attachment. So following with attachment to those devotees who are in the higher elevated state. Is it okay, Prabhu?
So following in their footsteps,
Yeah.
Raga Anuga. Raga means attachment, So these Ragatmika Bhakta, Krishna's personal associates, all the residents of Braja, they have this spontaneous love, prema for the Lord. So what Brahmaji is saying, that I will follow in their footsteps, exactly the way they are doing. I would like to serve them. So following their footsteps, then someday I might become a devotee. So he would prefer that he would better be a servant, Dasya Bhava, not the Vatsalya Bhava, rather higher forms, So that's what he's saying that. Thank you. Go ahead, Mataji.
Okay. So now anticipating if Krishna were to say, let's say if Krishna is going to say, oh Brahma, be careful what you wish for, after describing this Jnana Mishra Bhakti. You described what is Jnana Mishra Bhakti in your, just now we checked, we learned that. So let's say if Krishna says, be careful what you're going to wish for, then Brahmaji says, I've already thought what is the greatest good luck for me. I know what is the best for me. That is this Raganuga Dasya Bhakta. I already know. So this is what Brahmaji has had in mind very strongly, that he is going to be a devotee in his next life. He is going to be a Raganuga Dasya Bhakta in his next life. He wants to be that.
Why the question here, why would he not in this life?
Yes, in this life is not possible. Why? Because he's already engaged in a service. He's been given the portfolio of doing this Visarga, of doing. So if he gives up everything and goes to Vaikuntha, who will take his position? It is not possible. For him in this life is not possible. That is we are going to see in the last slide also. I was keeping it for the end, but it's okay. Prabhu,
sorry about that. Sorry.
You asked for now, so I just mentioned it. Sorry. Okay, never mind. We can do it again. It's so nice, so beautiful his prayers are. So now Brahmaji is saying, how greatly fortunate are the cows and the ladies of Vrindavan, the nectar of whose milk you have been happily drunk to your full satisfaction, taking the form of their calves and children. All the Vedic sacrifices performed from time immemorial up to the present day have not given you so much satisfaction. That is what Sridhar Swami is saying. So this is the second part of the shloka, that is shloka number 31. In this is glorifying the gopis of Vrindavan. elderly gopis. Aho ati dhanya brajago ramanya. He's saying, oh, you're ati dhanya, you're very, very, very fortunate, very lucky. Others, ladies of Vrindavan, the Go Ramanya. Why are they, Go means the cows and Ramanya means these gopis. Why are they so fortunate? Because their milk was drunk by Krishna to his full satisfaction. So imagine Krishna was so hungry. Krishna was so hungry that he, not hungry means for milk, but for hungry for their love, which came in the form of milk, that he became so many calves and so many cowherd boys that we discussed last time, millions and millions of cows and cowherd boys, and kept on drinking the milk from the cows as well as from the gopis, from the elderly gopis. Then, and still he was not satisfied. He was keeping on drinking and drinking and drinking, and he was not satisfied. And then finally, it is mentioned that all the Vedic sacrifices, they are performed from time immemorial until now. So many Vedic sacrifices are being performed all over the universe. So, but that is not giving him any satisfaction. In that yogi Vedic sacrifice, also you're putting milk, you're putting ghee. Milk means ghee. You're putting ghee and you're putting so many other things in the Vedic sacrifices, and that is not pleasing the Lord so much. That is not giving him as much satisfaction as he's getting by drinking the milk of the gopis and the cows, and therefore he's going on doing it. He's going on drinking and drinking. He's not feeling enough of it. This Ragatmika Vatsalya Bhakti of the Brajavasis, how is Brahma is glorifying now that the cows and the cowherd gopis in Braja, they are so fortunate that Krishna is drinking their milk, and it is considering that milk as nectar. So can anybody be satisfied with nectar? It's just, yes, satisfaction is one side, but he will keep on drinking it more and more. Although it's very satisfying, that is to the mind, a full satisfaction, but still you want to drink more and more. So thus to follow in their footsteps is called as Raganuga Bhakti. So just now Prabhu explained how Raganuga Bhakti is following the footsteps of Ragatmika Vatsalya Bhakta devotees. So serving them to our best capacities, whatever is possible. We cannot do that. We cannot become the mothers of Krishna. We cannot become the sakhas of Krishna. We cannot become the lovers of Krishna. But yes, we can serve them. And by serving them, we can become Raganuga Bhaktas one day. If we become spontaneously Raganuga Bhaktas, then one day we can have association of Krishna. So we come to the next slide, where again the same theme continues. Ragatmika, the Brajavasis who relish intimate relationship with Nandanandana Krishna.
Excuse me, one more interruption. Sorry about that. Prasad Prabhu, are you there?
Yes, Prabhu, I am there. I am seeing this slide.
So, Prabhuji, you're noticing that.
Yeah,
so
very unique way of
styles.
presenting it.
I'm doing it, but you notice why different styles? Because certain points are going to come out that particular way,
Yes,
so
Prabhu.
please keep noticing it, okay?
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah. This is another unique way of presenting it, Prabhu. Yeah.
Yes.
I'm just observing. Yeah.
Because you will see a lot of my templates, but you have to be innovative yourself also, Go ahead, Mataji.
Agree, Prabhu.
Okay.
Agree.
Thank you, Prabhu. So now we finished with this point of Vatsalya. Now we are going to talk about the other rasas which Krishna is enjoying with his other Ragatmika devotees. Oh, the good fortune, 2 times. Then why is it said 2 times? Oh, the good fortune of the inhabitants of Nanda Gopa Vrajaukasam. And he's saying Dhanya to this Nanda Gopa Vrajaukasam means Nanda's cowherd village. And all these people in this Vrindavan. Why? Because their friend is who? Who is the highest, who is giving the highest bliss. And who is that? He is the eternal Brahman. Complete eternal Brahman. Brahman means not Lord Brahma, but it's Krishna. Krishna is the eternal Brahman. And after praising the Ragatmika Vatsalya Prema, the deep, spontaneous, paternal affection of the Vrajavasis, then Brahma is glorifying those with Ragatmika Sakya Prema. Mitram. Mitram means he is saying, maybe we should read that shloka if possible. I don't know. Which is this shloka? अहो भाग्यम नंद गोप व्रजौकसाम यन्मित्रम परमानंदम पूर्ण ब्रह्म सनातनम. I think this is the shloka. Yes, aho bhagyam. So he is praising the bhagyam of whom? Of Nanda Maharaj, Nanda Gopa Vrajaukasam, and all the Vrajavasis. Yan Mitram, he is a Mitra, he is a friend of all these Vrajavasis. Yan Mitram Paramanandam. So who is that Yan Mitram Paramanandam? Paramanandam, the supreme bliss. Who is that? Purna Brahma Sanatanam. So he is the eternal and the complete absolute truth. So he's saying like that. And all those relishing intimate relationship with the Lord. So all who are those people, those who are the friends, Sakya Prema. So now the repetition of Aho Bhagyam, that is Aho, 2 times. Aho Bhagyam signifies that the good fortune has no limit whatsoever. That is mentioned by Sridhar Swami. So he is saying that the complete Brahman is eternal and is their friend. And the meaning is you always abide here as the eternal friend. So Sanatanam, Purna Brahma, Sanatanam. Sanatanam is eternal friend. So he's always, you are here only, in Vrindavan only. You never, Vrindavan Tejam, Padam Ekam na Gacchati. You will never leave Vrindavan, even just put your foot outside of Vrindavan. That is what is mentioned here. That he is a Purna Brahma, he is the absolute truth, he is a Purna Brahma, and he is eternally Sanatanam. He is always in this Vrindavan along with these Vrajavasis. Yet, even though the extent of the good fortune of these residents of Vrindavan is inconceivable, we, 11 presiding deities of various senses headed by Lord Shiva, are also most fortunate because the senses of these devotees of Vrindavan are the cups through which we repeatedly drink the nectarian intoxicating beverage of the honey of your lotus feet. Now, we need a medium through which we can drink. Like we have a cup, then we need the drink. So here, what is the nectar? The nectar is the honey of the lotus feet of Krishna. And what is the cup? The cup is those senses of the Vrindavan Vasis. Those, because the Vrindavan Vasis are constantly submerged in this nectar. They're submerged, they're totally inside. Their senses are full to the brim with this nectar. And therefore, through that, repeatedly, we can drink the nectarian intoxicating beverage. That is the nectar
So
of the
what is the Adhishtan Deva means?
Yeah.
What is the Adhishtan Deva?
Okay. So the 11 presiding deities of the various senses. So we have how many senses? We have 10 senses, working senses and knowledge acquiring senses. Then we have the mind, heading by the mind. Then we have other senses also, like mind, intelligence, false ego, consciousness. So consciousness is headed by the head of the consciousness is Krishna himself, that is Vishnu. Then like that, the other senses, all the other senses are also headed by presiding deities, the various senses. So these presiding deities of all these various senses, they are saying that we are also getting that nectarian beverage through the cups of the senses of the devotees of Vrindavan. Through those cups, they are able to, that is the good fortune. What is the good fortune? The extent of the good fortune of the residents of Vrindavan is inconceivable. We cannot even conceive what kind of good fortune they are. They are submerged in the nectar. But
so the question is this: the what is the Adhishtan Devatas? Means we have this eyes, ears, nose. They are our external senses, okay? But there are internal senses of which these devas, these demigods, are the in charge of that. So what Brahmaji is saying, that these Brajavasis, okay, they are enjoying with their senses, each of their senses, through eyes, ears, nose, they are enjoying the company of Krishna in so much nectar-like rasas, So these devas are being their additional devas, presiding duties of the internal senses. So Brahmaji is saying we get to taste how they are enjoying through their own senses the taste of the nectar, hearing whatever the Krishna, whatever is saying to them, see all the time Krishna's beauty they are observing. So they themselves actually experience the rasas what the Brajvasis are experiencing, by being the in charge of their internal senses. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Prabhu. Very wonderful. So who are fortunate now? Extremely fortunate are the residents of Vrindavan, which we cannot conceive. But the 11 presiding deities of the various senses headed by Lord Shiva are also fortunate because through those senses of the devotees of Vrindavan, they are able to experience the nectarian intoxicating beverage of the lotus feet of Krishna. So that is what Brahmaji is saying. So the glimpse of our good fortune, that is the presiding deities of the senses, they are saying that besides the 10 senses, there is mind, intelligence, false ego, and consciousness. Of the 14, the gentle and inner are rejected as lowly, and the Vasudev Krishna is the presiding deity of the consciousness. Therefore, Brahmaji is praying. What is he praying? We, the 11 presiding deities of the senses, are secondarily experiencing Krishna's sweetness through these primary senses of Rajavasis. Now we know why it's 11, because you're minus the 2. So now, here in this next slide, it says, may I, Brahma, be born in Vrindavan as a blade of grass, a bush, or a kripa. So now the next prayer, the actual prayer of Brahmaji is going to come into picture. What is the entire 40 shlokas of which Brahmaji is praying, and then it's culminating here. What, remember when we saw in the first part of this prayers where Krishna is holding a morsel of yogurt rice in his hand and is standing and he is totally absorbed in his Leela Shakti, and suddenly Brahmaji is coming and offering his prayers, and his little boy Krishna, 5-year-old, very beautiful, is now thinking, who is this Brahma? Who is this man? Who is this guy with 4 faces? Why is he talking so much? I am so busy. I have to go and look for my calves. Why is he stopping me and disturbing me? What is he talking all about? 5-year-old boy is acting like that. Can't understand what is he talking. So like this, now is the culmination where Brahmaji is going to ask Krishna for something, and Krishna is going to be very quiet. Now we are going to see why Krishna is going to be very quiet and what are the different moods in this. So my greatest possible good fortune would be to take any birth, whatever, in this forest of Gokula, and have my head bathed by the dust falling from the lotus feet of its residents. The entire life and soul is Lord Mukunda, the dust of whose lotus feet is being searched for in the Vedic mantras. Mukunda, Krishna's dust of his feet, is being searched for in all the mantras, on the Vedic mantras. And such dust is falling in Vrindavan everywhere. And Brahmaji says, let me take a birth. Even let me be a creeper or a grass. The dust will fall from the residents of the feet of any of its residents is also fine. And because their entire life and soul is Mukunda. Now he's not directly approaching Krishna, but is approaching Krishna through the residents of Vrindavan. He is now glorifying only the residents of Vrindavan. Just now he glorified the gopis. Then he glorified Nanda Maharaj and all the Vrajavasis. Then he glorified how the presiding deities are enjoying the nectar through the Vrajavasis. Now he wants to enjoy the dust from their lotus feet of the Vrajavasis, so that because their entire life and soul is Mukunda. So the 2 reasons here, okay, we'll see this part first. Profuse good fortune of Brahmaji is that any birth in Gokula he wants, but what is the gain in abandoning Satyaloka and taking birth here? So he is like a great personality in Satyaloka, and why does he want to abandon that and become a creeper? Not just any birth, but where there is opportunity of Abhishekam with the foot dust of Krishna's Ragatmika residents of Braja. So Brahmaji doesn't want any birth like that. He wants to become a creeper or a bush or blade of grass where he can get the foot dust of the Ragatmika residents of Vraja, who are eternally liberated devotees of the Lord. Even Krishna says he's eternally indebted to them for their spontaneous prema. So even Krishna is indebted to them. So if Krishna is subservient, if Krishna is indebted, if Krishna is under their control, then who are they? They are so elevated devotees. Their stand or their position is so high. So if they are higher than Krishna, then I should get their dust of their lotus feet. So here we see that Brahmaji has given up two things. He has given up his pride and he has given up his desire for opulence. That means he got humbled that I can become like a grass. I can become a trinavrat. I can become like just like a trina in this, and then I can become also give up my position, my opulence, my Satyaloka, and come here to this small little village here in Raja. Why is he giving up these two things? Because he wants to be showered by the dust of the lotus feet of the Ragatmika devotees. So he's considering them to be so high. Oh, they are even, Krishna is also indebted to them. So what to speak of me? You know, I must be showered by their mercy. At first he was asking, he was glorifying Krishna, that your iota of mercy of, but now he's talking about the mercy of the devotees of Krishna. My mind becomes bewildered just trying to think of what reward other than you could be found anywhere. Now he's coming to such a beautiful point, that you are the embodiment of all benedictions, isn't it? Krishna, we want you. Isn't everybody says Krishna, we want Krishna Prem, we want you, we want. So here he is saying that you have bestowed upon the residents of cowherd community, you have bestowed yourself, you have given yourself to them, you are totally sold out to them. You have already arranged to give yourself to Putana. You remember? Putana and Sakula and all his and all her family members. Why? Just because she came disguised as a gopi. She dressed up like a gopi and she came to Vrindavan. She did disguised as a devotee and came. Just because she wore that gopi dress, she became what? You yourself gave yourself to her. You gave her a place in as a dhatri in Golok Vrindavan. And what is left for you to give to these devotees of Vrindavan? Whose homes, whose wealth, whose friends, their relations, bodies, children, their very lives, their hearts are all dedicated to you. Putana came with a wrong intention. He came to kill you. She came with such a horrible intention, and she is sin personified. She had killed so many children, and she had come like that. And just because she disguised like a mother, she disguised like a gopi, you gave her everything. You gave her such an elevated position. If you have given this kind of a demon, and not only her, you gave her family members also, Agasura, Bakasura, all of them. You gave Sarupya Mukti. Why? Why did you do this? And if you have done this to them, why is not the question here. If you have done this to them, then what is left for you to give to the Vrajavasis? Vrajavasis have given everything to you. What will you give them? So Brahma's mind is bewildered. So he is thinking, why are you externally indebted to them for their spontaneous prema bhakti? Krishna might say. Then Krishna might say that I may give them my transcendental abode, my wealth, a host of other gifts, including my very self. That way I may be debt free. But Brahma is responding, not really, not quite. Because just by wearing a dress of a devotee, you gave yourself to Putana even, Agasura, Bakasura. They also were, you have given them such high posts. And these Rajvasis, they have given up everything for you. And they are only meant for you alone. And then that would only be, isn't it, a shadow of gratitude on your part, isn't it? If you give them yourself also, it will be only a shadow, isn't it? And so your special qualities, such as your renowned magnanimity, would not be manifest. How can it be manifest? Because you already given such great facilities to Putana, Agasura, Bakasura. Then what is left for with you that you can give to these Vrajavasis? So that is why Krishna says that he cannot reciprocate his Ragatmika Prema Bhaktas properly. He would rather remain indebted to them. Then that is Brahma's greatest fortune, that by aspiring to take birth in Vraja in any life form, so that he could have the Abhishekam with their food dust. So now you know the exalted position of these Vrajavasis.
Later on, we will know at the end, when we come to the Rasa Leela and everything, where Krishna is actually begging to these devotees, so that na parayam, I will never be able to pay my debt to you, and I would remain as a constantly all the time. I will be under your debt, like that. So that kind of Krishna himself admits that this is special words that later on we will come to when they come to that level,
Naparayeham, yes, that is the
Na
verse.
parayam. Yeah.
Where Krishna says, I cannot repay you. I cannot repay your debts, which, because see, this is the thing. Here he has already given everything to Putana and Bakasura, who are such sinful persons. And what will he give to Rajavasis? What will he give then? What is left for him to give? So because he cannot give anything higher than that, because he's already given everything. So he cannot give anything much more than that. And therefore he says, I'm indebted to you. Naparayeham. I cannot repay you at all. So I forever remain indebted to you. So this slide shows Shloka 36 and 37. Says, my dear Lord Krishna, until people become your devotees, their material attachments and their desires remain thieves, their homes remain prisons, and their affectionate feelings for their family members remains like foot shackles. So here, the sannyasis say that the Brajavasis are grahastas, isn't it? If let's say sannyasis, they say, oh, Brajavasis are grahastas. They are fallen in the network of material life. They have son, they have wife, and so forth. So why do you say that giving myself to them is inadequate? They are only grahastas. So Brahma is saying that, oh Krishna, material attachment and other proclivities are like thieves, but all these things are like house is a place of confinement, infatuation is also chained to the feet. Yes, but as long as people do not become yours, so once they become yours, then however their attachment, feelings, whatever it is, it's all based on you, and because of that they're conducive to liberation. Therefore the sannyasis, they may be sannyasis, but the Vrajavasis, although they are grahastas, they are higher than the sannyasis. The gist is that this particularity makes them spiritual practice superior to that of a renunciant. This, if the sannyasi says that they are grahastas, they are fallen in the network of Maya, but because they are totally become Krishna's, everything is Krishna's, house is Krishna's, family is Krishna's, Manasa Deho Geho Jo Kichumor, Arpilutua Pade Nanda Kishore, everything is yours, Nanda Kishore. Isn't it? In that also, it's in that song also Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying that everything is yours, even my house, my wife, my mind, everything is yours, Krishna. So when everything becomes yours, then even the attachment is yours, the feelings are yours, everything is yours, isn't it? So everything becomes Krishna's. So they become higher than the sannyasis, because the sannyasis have attachment to their jnana, to their speculation, to their way of conduct, to the way they are, that is that they are sannyasis. Even they have that feeling that I am a sannyasi, so that feeling is there, that upadhi is there. But whereas these Vrajavasis, they don't think I am a grahastha, I have a wife, I have children and all. everything is yours, Krishna. My wife is yours. My children are yours. I am yours. Everything is yours. So everything becomes Krishna's, and when they become Krishna's totally, they are higher than that of a sannyasi. So although you have nothing to do with material existence, you come to this earth and imitate material life just to expand the varieties of ecstatic enjoyment for your surrendered devotees. So seeing that there are surrendered devotees on this planet, Krishna also wants to come here, and he doesn't have to come here, but he comes for these surrendered devotees so that he can have enjoyment with them. He can expand his various ecstatic happiness and enjoyment with these devotees and have fun. So for that, to give fun and to enjoy fun, Krishna comes to this material world. So Srila Prabhupada's purport, it says that Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakura is pointing out that just as a lamp, it does not seem to shine brightly in sunlight, isn't it? So if there is sunlight and you bring the lamp outside, can you see it brightly shining? It is glowing, but it's not bright enough because the sunshine is totally covering it. Now, in the shade, immediately it brightens up and gives so much out. So just like a diamond, if you bring it on a silver platter, then it doesn't become so bright. You cannot make out its brilliance so much. But if you bring it on a plate of a blue glass, then it's a contrast. Immediately you can see, wow, the diamond is shining so brightly. So like that, the Lord's pastimes as Govinda, they do not seem so amazing in the transcendental abode of Vaikuntha, but when they come into this material realm of Maya, they immediately become like the diamond on a blue plate. So that Lord Krishna comes to earth and he acts towards his pure devotee exactly like a devoted son, a boyfriend, a husband, a father, a friend, and so on. And within the darkness of this material existence, these brilliant, liberating pastimes gives us unlimited ecstasy to the surrendered devotees of the Lord. So beautiful, isn't it?
So beautiful. So Prabhupada wrote this so beautiful. I liked it very much.
Yeah, so beautiful. Okay, so we come to this slide where Brahmaji is saying that I may be born in Vrindavan as a blade of grass, a bush, or a creeper. So there are people who say, I know everything about Krishna. So they say, Janantum eva janantu. So people say that I know Krishna. Let them think that way. As far as I am concerned, I do not wish to speak very much about this matter. Oh my Lord, let me say this much, that as far as your opulences are concerned, they are all beyond the reach of my mind, body, and words. So it's very simple to understand what Brahmaji is trying to say. From the beginning, Brahmaji stated that Krishna is hard to understand, isn't it? From the beginning, he said that. For his qualities are both inconceivable and unlimited. That is Sridhar Swami is telling. That here Krishna might say, oh Brahma, if this is all true, then please tell me how many wise philosophers are there like you who can so brilliantly explain everything about my transcendental form. Raja devotees, pastimes, devotional service. That's why Brahmaji is speaking this verse that no, I'm the greatest fool. I don't, this is Brahmaji's humility. He's saying, I am fearful and I am repenting. What did I do? And he's speaking with so much feeling. And he's saying that you are the most difficult to understand. So, a lesson for us here is that is Krishna is going to exhibit his Vraja Leela seemingly on a material platform, but in reality, it is on the transcendental platform. Just now we saw Srila Prabhupada's purport why he's exhibiting this Vraja Leela, and it seems that it's on a material platform because he has brought his Gokul Dham here to this material platform. But it is definitely not material, it is transcendental. Vrindavan remains transcendental for all times. So here we see, I think this is the last
just
slide.
Summarize, Mataji. Mataji, you can summarize now.
Yeah, because it's taking a lot of time. Vatsalya and Sakya Prema of the Ragatmika Vrajavasis who relish intimate relationship with Nandan and Krishna. Here in the verse 39, it says, I humbly request permission to leave. Now Brahmaji wants to leave and he's saying that you are the knower and everything, seer of everything, and yet I offer this. So Brahmaji is saying that even I'm so insignificant, I'm offering this universe. What do I have? You think I'm a creator? I have created secondary creation. I've done this universe. Okay, I offer this universe to you. So Brahmaji is now requesting his permission to go back, and he's also feeling very exasperated. What is this? Krishna is so silent. Why is he so silent? So, but without his command, he has asked for a benediction, isn't it? I want to become a small blade of grass. Let me be a blade of grass in Raja. But what about that? But Krishna is not saying anything. He's quiet. He's just standing there with the motionless. He's not even talking to me. So he's saying maybe my offenses were unpardonable. Therefore, he has not said anything. That's why I wish to leave. Then you bestow happiness upon the lotus-like Vrishni dynasty. So he is now concluding his prayers and he wants to leave. He wants to go back. And so now he's saying you dispel the darkness of religion and all that. And as long as this universe exists, as long as the sun shines, I will offer my obeisances to you. So Brahmaji is saying, okay, now I'm offering my obeisances to you and I'm going back. So here we see the points according to Sanatan Goswami. Brahmaji is engaged in ecstasy of Nam Sankirtan. He is glorifying various holy names of Krishna and he is indicating that variegated pastimes of Krishna. That is what he is thinking. Now, what is Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur saying? Brahmaji, in his shame, is feeling that he's like a Brahma Rakshasa from Satyaloka who has come to the earth to disturb Krishna. So this is like a very humble position which Brahmaji is taking. And Brahmaji is lamenting that although Krishna is the most exalted of the Lords, that he has appeared before Brahmaji in such a simple, innocent form, and therefore Brahmaji dared to challenge him. And therefore, Brahmaji's prayers is at the conclusion. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakura says, this is so beautiful. Please try to hear this carefully. May these prayers of Brahma, which take away all doubts and broadcast all definitive conclusions of devotional service, become the expert craftsmanship of the foundation of my consciousness. This is so beautiful. If you can see this part over here. Sorry. I'm sorry. This part over here, if you can see, my cursor is moving, but change them. No time to change them. May these prayers of Brahmaji, now they have taken away all the doubts and they have broadcast what? The definitive conclusion of devotional service. What we have to do, we now know definitely. And now these prayers have become the expert craftsmanship of the foundation of my consciousness. So that is so beautiful. This is shown by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakura. And having thus offered his prayers, Brahmaji circumambulated his worshipful Lord and 3 times, and he bowed down at his lotus feet, and then he returned to his own residence. So now we saw earlier why Brahmaji, although Brahmaji had prayed to take birth as a blade of grass, Lord Krishna in his silent response to Brahmaji's prayers is indicating that Brahma should return to his own abode. Why? Because first Brahma had to complete his personal devotional service of universal creation. So this is the reason. So this is the final reason. Final slide which I wanted to say, that Brahmaji has to complete his personal devotional service of universal creation. Then he could come to Vrindavan and get the mercy of the inhabitants. In other words, a devotee should always be attentive to executing his personal devotional service properly. That is more important than trying to live in the Lord's abode. Such an important point in Srila Prabhupada's purport. Thank you, Prabhu, for such wonderful slides. Thank you, devotees, for attentively listening.
Wonderful delivery.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you for everything. Mancha Kalpatarabhesha Kripa Sindhu.
So Sanjay Prabhuji, you took 15 minutes extra actually. It's only up to 9:15 you're supposed to, 9 my time, I don't know what's time in India. It's only 30 minutes you're given, okay? Next time onwards. Because otherwise, the person who's going to deliver the class, it will be very difficult for that person, All right. It's open for discussion.
Yeah, okay, sure, Prabhu. In fact, I was asking twice. Am I
No, it's
on
because
schedule or delayed?
you are in that kind of form, so I didn't want to disturb you. But I
Okay.
wanted to tell you right there that your time
Right,
was
right.
up at 9:15. No, but next time, be careful.
Sure, sure.
Hare Krishna. Okay, it's time for discussion.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam.
Wonderful session, Mataji.
Thank
Thank you very much. I had always one question, Mataji. It's like jnana and bhakti. That is, whatever we are doing, consolidating the preparation and everything, this all comes under bhakti. Okay, because
Yes.
these are all connected to Krishna. We are preparing, Prabhuji is preparing the slides and we are preparing and presenting it. So, what exactly is jnana then? Okay, I really don't understand. What is jnana then? Okay,
That is
everything,
speculative
whatever
knowledge,
bhava
Prabhu.
is completely jnana.
Speculative knowledge. That is already mentioned in
Speculative
the
knowledge.
slide. Speculative knowledge.
The jnana is like
Speculative.
Upanishad and all this is knowledge that is considered like a, because that's a philosophy. Philosophy means a little bit, you are thinking and you are just more on a kind of a speculative aspect of it, whereas the pure bhakti, you need to transfer. The jnana is not, it's not, don't underestimate. Jnana is very important, but not that kind of jnana. The jnana is about Krishna, Bhagavad Tattva Vijnanam, all about how can I come closer and closer to the Lord. Remember when we did this Mana Siksha course, where we learned that actually the Manjaris are our Siksha gurus, our gurus, So that's how we learn, because they teach us how to become part of Krishna's entourage, That is see, the devotees, they don't want just freedom, just mukti, freedom from material existence. They don't even care to go to Golok Vrindavan Dham. They just want to, wherever Krishna goes, we become part of his entourage. That is the goal of every high topmost devotees, actually, And they come, like Prabhupada is like that. They didn't come just because of karmas like most of us. They come especially as part of Krishna's entourage and to glorify and bhakti process. They explain to us that is what it is, So there is the highest platform. That's what it is. So jnana should be more of a Bhagavad Tattva Vijnanam, realization of how to come closer and closer to Krishna by following in the footsteps of those advanced devotees, sadhu sangha. So that is the kind of knowledge we want. And vairagya, both jnana and vairagya themselves do not give bhakti. On the contrary, bhakti itself gives birth to jnana and vairagya. In fact, the Mahatmya of Bhagavatam Mahatmya, there's a very nice story about that actually. They are the two sons of Bhakti Devi, Jnana and Vairagya, So Jnana and Vairagya ultimately comes directly from Bhakti itself. But there, Krishna gives that knowledge how to come closer to him. And Vairagya, just because something is material, because this Jnana is, those, they don't want to get engaged in any kind of material things. But for a devotee, what they call Yukta Vairagya, even something is material, they would rather use it in Krishna's service. So that is the topmost. So both Jnana and Vairagya, everything, anything, whatever you're doing, you just dovetail it, just channel it through serving the Lord. That's what the point is here.
Yes, sir.
So that's why Rupa Goswami defines pure bhakti is that you need to uncover that kind of jnana and karma. Karma means just fruit your activities, just for this desire, that desire, material desires. That is the karmis, Jnana means those jnanis, because their goal is just highest goal they have is to have merged with the Supreme Lord's this what is called that Brahma Jyoti. That's what their goal is there, nothing else.
Okay, understood. Thank you. Okay, the context and all that. Understood. Thank you.
Prabhuji, other meaning of jnana is also tark vitark karna.
Yeah, that's
Logic,
what it is actually.
logic discussion.
Upanishad, the jnana is there. That's basically philosophy, you know. And tark vitarka means something that you argue and counter argue other jnanis. That's what they take place in that. But there is nothing to do much about Krishna. But here, see our acharyas, they also make philosophical connections, right? But their goal is to explain in this the dialogue taking place in Krishna's devotee Brahmaji, Brajavasis. See, that's what our acharyas are explaining that. Sometimes, but you see, that's what Prabhupada is to. In one of the purport, Prabhupada mentions speculative knowledge that is forbidden, okay, for us. But you can talk about philosophy within the framework of this shastra, you know, sadhu, shastra, and what else is given? Three ways that
Guru,
they
guru,
take it. Guru, sadhu, and shastra. So within the confinement of that, you can make philosophical arguments and things like that. See, Jiva Goswami, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Sridhar Swami Maharaj, they do extend that thing, but basically their particular angle of vision that Krishna is showing to them, that they explain that, you know. So, but all this thing is geared to explaining Krishna Bhakti, Prema Bhakti, whereas those philosophers, Upanishadic philosophers, they don't have anything concerned about that. Why I'm telling you this? Because I'm attending these academic classes, and they all talk about that. In fact, one of the classes that I'm attending, one of the course which I attended, is Bhagavad Gita and the West. How the German people, they're called Indologists, studies of Indian religion, and especially Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, they are such a horrible twisting they do that. They said Krishna was an Aryan coming from Northern Europe, and because he's a white complexion he had, but after staying in India for many years, he became dark. That kind of rubbish thing they talk about that. You know. So this whole the university that I'm attending, Hindu University of America, their whole goal is to defend against those kind of perversions, those kind of twisting around our shastras, you know. And the saddest part is that some of the high class society, being India, taking birth in India, they are supporting that kind of twisting around. One of the paper that we had to study was Kosambi. It's just a horrible. This being an Indian guy, he wrote such a horrible thing about Bhagavad Gita and how they degrade Krishna is just mind-boggling. So that kind of thing, that is what we call speculative philosophers who completely disregard Krishna, just like an ordinary person, you know. Hare Krishna. So
तो
Prasad Prabhu,
प्रभु
you
जी ऐसे
understand that?
लोग कभी भी भक्ति प्लेटफॉर्म पे आ ही नहीं सकेंगे, है ना प्रभु जी?
Never, and Krishna, what he says, Bhagavad Gita, that I keep them always
हाँ,
life
उनमें ही
after life,
फंसा
they
के
keep them
रखेंगे,
that
उनमें ही फंसा के रखेंगे.
because they are really envious.
हाँ.
नहीं तो ऐसा हो सकता है भगवान को कौन है कैसे एनवी हो सकते हैं? I used to think myself about it. How can somebody be envious? Because they don't even accept Krishna as the Bhagavan, as the Supreme Lord. They just saw him as just a politician. Hare Krishna. Please continue. If nobody's asking question, I'm going to ask Sharad Prabhuji.
प्रभु जी इन नेक्स्ट चैतन्य लीला में ब्रह्मा जी को बहुत ही अच्छी पोजीशन मिली डिवोटी की. शिला भक्त हरिदास ठाकुर जी नामाचार्य.
Yeah, wonderful. Yeah. And that's what he was aiming for, that, right? In fact, being a Brahma's position, he was actually serving, he is serving the Lord. He's still serving. Only is little over about 50, 51 years he is right now. of his 100 years. Remember, it's the whole creation, the lifetime of creation is 311 trillion years. Trillion, okay? 10 to the 12, 10 to the power 12. 311 trillion years, 40 billion years. Of that, only half the time is elapsed, little over 151 trillion years. Half the time is still there. And the Chatur Yuga, there are 71 Chatur Yuga in one day of Brahma, right? So of this particular Chatur Yuga, only about 28, now we are running at the 28th cycle. So Vivasta Manu is still going to continue. He is just only in 28th cycle. See, our Shastra explains so much in great detail. These Western scientists have no imagination of that kind, because Krishna gives the knowledge, that kind of thing, directly to those devotees, not to those kind of dry philosophers. Prabhupada used to talk a lot about in many of his purports, Okay.
प्रभु ये ज्ञान समझने के लिए भी भगवान की मर्जी की जरूरत पड़ेगी. अदरवाइज भगवान की कृपा नहीं होगी तो ये ज्ञान हम कैसे समझ पाएंगे. तो वो को मर्जी है ही नहीं, मतलब ऐसा हुआ.
हमें तो यही सोचना, हम कैसे आगे बढ़ सकते हैं, हाउ वी कैन मेक प्रोग्रेस. हमारे बस वो भगवान का काम है, उनको करना है, जो कुछ करना है वो भगवान का. द रीजन आई एक्सप्लेन दिस थिंग because who asked the question? Prasad who asked the question, right? But the jnana, that kind of jnani is, that's why I explained to you. But our job is not to, but that kind of twisting around, if you're a devotee, your blood boils actually when you hear that, Okay, let's give chance to Sharad Prabhuji, because only 5 minutes remaining, 5 or 7 minutes remaining.
Thank you, Prabhuji. In this verse 33, we are talking about what Brahma is saying, praying. We, the 11 presiding deities of the senses, are experiencing Krishna's sweetness through the 11 senses of the inhabitants of Krishna, inhabitants of Braja. Now, please remember that all the inhabitants of Braja, the Brajavasis, the Gopas, Gopis, and others, they are, as we learnt, they are the Ragatmika Bhaktas. Their bodies are totally transcendental, unlike us. And then, if their bodies are transcendental, how can the material demigods, they take charge of the senses of these people? Now,
very good question. Very good question.
I'll answer this question. As you know, the various demigods who take control of our senses, like the sun takes control of our eyes, moon takes control of our mind, like this. Now, but in the very beginning, I must tell you that the material sun, moon, and the other demigods, they are all expansions of the spiritual prototypes. Now, the demigods of the material, the world, material realm, are specifically empowered agents of the demigods of the spiritual world. And the material senses cannot act independently. Only by the sanction and power of the demigods can the material senses experience material objects. But Krishna's eternal associates independently experience the Lord's form, sound, through their spiritual senses without any influence of the mundane demigods. But Brahma is saying this. Now, what is the reason? What the explanation is, in his enthusiasm, Brahma identified his power to control the material intelligence with the senses of the inhabitants of Braja. And the material senses, as we know, they enjoy the objects of the mundane world, but the presiding deities who facilitate this pleasure, they do not. However, without the presence of Brahma and the other presiding deities in the intelligence, mind, eyes, nose, the senses of those fixed in Krishna consciousness could not experience the sense objects of form and smell. And this is the opinion of those who know the soul. Because of their eagerness to taste the sweetness, Krishna, Brahma, and the other, we are able to experience bliss despite two faults. And what are the two faults? Though Brahma and the other presiding deities of the senses are mere instigators, that is the karta of the action of the senses, they took on the role of being the enjoyers, bhokta. Although they are the demigods of the material senses, they took on the role of being the demigods of the spiritual senses. And these are the contrary actions seen in Krishna Prema. And it is explained by our acharyas also. Factually, the senses of Krishna's eternal associates are spiritual like the Lord. So, how could material demigods enter their spiritual senses? There is another meaning of this verse also given by the acharyas. Sometimes devotee will praise his own fortune out of greediness to taste Krishna's sweetness, Madhurya. Now, the good fortune of the inhabitants of Braja is incomparable. But we, the 10 demigods, the Palas, are very, very fortunate. Brahma is saying, why? Then, touching his finger to his senses, Brahma says, Krishna, with our senses, we also experience your beauty and sweetness as you leave Braja to herd the calves. Like this, these are various explanations given by our acharyas on this aspect. And please remember all these the text, the verses up to 61, which are given here in this chapter, chapter 14, they have got very deep philosophical implications. If we talk about each one of them, then it will be never ending. But we are just giving you the gist of it. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you very much. The time is up, actually.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay. Since the time is up, I think let's conclude the class with Nishima prayer.
Lalita Mataji, please do.
Namaste Narsimhaya Praladalaadaini Hiranyakashipurvaksha Shilatankanakalaye Ito Narsimho Parato Narsimho Yato yato yami tato narsimho Bahi narsimho Hridaye narsimho Narasimhamadim sharanam prapadi Tava kara kamalavari Nakamadbhuta shringam Dalita Hiranyakashipo Tanubringam Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय नृसिंहदेव जय नृसिंहदेव जय नृसिंहदेव जय नृसिंहदेव जय लक्ष्मी नरसिंह जय प्रहलाद महाराज जय लक्ष्मी नरसिंह जय प्रहलाद महाराज जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद जय गुरुदेव भक्ति विघ्न विनाश श्री लक्ष्मी नृसिंह भगवान की जय श्री प्रहलाद नृसिंह भगवान की जय श्री प्रहलाद महाराज की जय श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय अपने अपने गुरुदेव की जय थैंक यू हरे कृष्ण
Thank you. So tomorrow we'll have this lesson 47. Actually, it's supposed to be for the my teammates, but and it is I must warn you though, it's a very deep philosophy and very dense philosophy, but everybody is welcome to attend that. So basically, whole class I would be giving that. Thank you very much. And Archana Mataji, so excellent job as always you do that, and I thoroughly enjoy that, And thank you also Sanjeev Prabhuji, very well done. The recap, and all of you for actively participating, enthusiastically participating, and I really appreciate very much. Thank you so much. And finally, couple words of my gratitude to Sharad Prabhuji also, so wonderful. Every time, even if he speak 2-3 minutes, in that 2-3 minutes, he will give a really something really very, very sense of deep philosophy, something very, very useful knowledge he gives to us. That many times I'm totally aware of some of the information he provides us, So we are very, very fortunate. I'm very fortunate. We have such wonderful kirtaniyas, speakers. I'm really elated that I feel myself completely blessed that Krishna has sent all of you my way. Hari Bol. Thank you so much. So I look forward to see you all tomorrow. Hare Krishna.
Prabhu, which chapter we are
Prabhuji, we
going to
are
do
also so
tomorrow?
fortunate to associate with all of you. Thank you,
Thank
Prabhuji.
you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Archana Mataji.
Krishna Mataji, thank you so
thank
much.
you Archana
Prabhu,
Mataji
tomorrow which
Sharad
chapter we are
Prabhuji
going to do, Prabhu?
Archana
Which chapter we are going to do?
Hare Krishna
Thank you so much, Mataji.
Thank you so much, Sharad Prabhuji, Sanjeev Prabhuji, Prasad
Thank you,
Prabhuji. Hari
Mataji.
Bol.
Thank you for your kind blessings.
Prabhu, tomorrow which chapter we are going to do, Prabhu? That exercise?
Yeah, that is actually it's chapter 14, but it's an appendix. That is where we are going to learn about this
Okay.
Vivartavada
So
philosophy.
appendix is not there in regular Bhagavatam book, Prabhu.
No, it's not in the Bhagavatam book. It's in this commentary book,
Commentary book. Okay. Thank you.
Hari Bol. Thank you.